since the last time we talked.
Scared, but
Scared?
okay.
Nothing to be scared about,
Okay, is the
right?
defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize. I was having some issues.
I understand. On the count of first degree murder times 5 for your client, how do they plead?
Not guilty. Say not guilty. Not guilty.
Attempted first degree murder times 1, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Statement of charges. Throughout the month of November, the state was plagued by a string of vicious murders in which each scene the killer had left a signature, therefore becoming known as pandemonium. On the 1st of December, the defendant, known as Kay Oss, failed her most recent attempt of taking another human life and was brought into custody. Forensics found that the knife in her possession contained DNA matching all the victims. Is the prosecution ready for their opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, before we start, I want to make it perfectly clear that this is a serious murder trial and the death penalty is on the table. Let's continue.
All right. Jeremy Parker, Marcus Andreas, Raymond Miller, Laurel San, Percy Goodwin. These are all the lives that were taken so soon by the hands and tools of Miss Kay Oss. Miss Oss methodically and purposefully murdered 5 Los Santos citizens, nearly claiming the life of a sixth. We take the time today to remember their names and honor their loved ones as we seek justice. Through a plethora of evidence and overwhelming testimony, the courts will bear witness to the horrific deeds and crimes committed by Miss Oss. Miss Oss should never be freed to walk the streets of Los Santos again. Never allowed to hike the scenic views of the Vinewood sign, cruise through the Vinewood Drive, witness the great economic boost of the El Burro oil fields, fly into our great city through Los Santos International Airport, and get a public works job at the Palmer Taylor Power Station, or even feel safe to picnic at the Land Act Dam. All places Miss Oss murdered or attacked her victims. Like these lives taken, these places have lost part of their magic, their identity, being associated with such pandemonium. Pandemonium, such an interesting word associated with this case. Defined as wild and noisy disorder or confusion, uproar. That is what Miss Oss wanted. She wanted to create an uproar of her wild and noisy actions to cause confusion as to why she would do such heinous activities. We will closely examine the parallels of each crime scene to string together a cohesive timeline, from jingling music boxes to soft white ribbons, brought together by delicate flowers and sharp syringes. The evidence will prevail, with Miss Oss being brought to justice. Thank you, Your Honor.
Defense, you have your opening?
I do. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I'd like for you all to think back on your time as a child. Waking up and smelling mom cooking bacon and eggs. Going to the park with dad to play catch. Learning how to ride a bike. Fireworks on the 4th of July with a hot dog in your hand. Hanging out with friends. Being told how worthless you are. Growing up to hate. Having anger issues, anxiety issues, having your own name taken away from you and having it replaced with a cruel word that represents the destruction and hate that is desired from someone else. Now, you may have noticed that the second half of those memories were not relevant in your childhood. Maybe they were. If so, I'm terribly sorry. But for the majority of you in this courtroom, I guarantee that it isn't relevant. And the reason that I bring these thoughts and feelings up is because they are relevant to one person in this room, my client, Miss Kay Oss, or as I'd like to call her by her real name, Mabel. Beautiful name, isn't it? It's Latin for lovable, and it's such a shame that a parental figure in her life would take that away from her and guide her down a horrible path. A parental figure that had such an impact on her life as a child that she claims to hear his voice in her head at all times, telling her what to do, telling her how to act, how to talk, walk, eat, sleep, even hurt someone. My client tells me that sometimes the voices in her head ask her to do horrible things and she's too afraid to not listen and obeys what he says to do. My client also tells me that she doesn't want to live this life and wants to get better. She wants to be Mabel and no longer cause chaos. But Mabel is scared. In fact, at this very moment, Mabel is stuck in a feral state with childlike behaviors caused by years and years of trauma that only medical professionals at Parsons Rehabilitation Center are capable of handling. She does not deserve to die. She wants to change. She does not deserve to rot in prison. She will only become worse there, as shown in previous medical evaluation reports by Dr. William Thatch. She needs to be somewhere where she can get the help that she needs so she can live a better life and depart from these psychotic ways. Due to this feral state and childlike behaviors, I believe that Mabel did not fully understand what she was doing and did not understand that it was wrong. I believe that the voices in her head, aka her father's voice, coerced her into acting out these heinous crimes and that the actions she committed were involuntary due to insanity. Thank you, Your Honor.
Prosecution, first witness.
I'd like to call Miss Jenny Hall to the stand, please.
Ms. Hall.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Your Honor.
Sorry, Your Honor. Can you raise your left arm, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury, so help you airborne?
I do.
She's been sworn in, Your Honor.
Very well. You can question.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hall, can you just please give the courts your full name and occupation, please?
I'm Senior Deputy Jenny Hall. I'm an officer, a deputy correction with the Blaine County Sheriff's Office.
All right. Thank you. Were you on duty on November 3rd, 2020?
Yes, sir, I was.
All right. Did you respond to a 911 call at the Vinewood sign?
I did indeed.
All right. What did you find when you arrived at that scene?
At first, I found an abandoned bike. I found footsteps, which led to a body, sir, an unresponsive person. There was footsteps all over. Some looked plain. Some looked like they were wearing shoes. It looked like they'd been dancing, which led to a body that had been, I believe, stabbed.
All right. So did the victim have like visible wounds?
Yes, sir.
All right. What wounds were initially like did you observe? Just go into detail.
There looked to be 2 strikes to the sides of the ribs, each side.
All right. And Your Honor, I just would like to make this easier for you. It's the People's A and the People's H. If you'd like to reference those. Ms. Hall, can you tell me the name of the victim that you found at the scene?
I believe it was Jeremy Parker.
All right. Okay, now we're just gonna kind of be moving on here. Were you on duty on November 17th, 2020?
I'm unsure, sir. Apologies, you'll have to try to.
All right.
Is it one of the reports?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I was. I do. Yeah. Yep, I was.
All right. Did you respond to a call near the oil fields?
Yes, sir.
All right. What did you find when you arrived at this scene?
Another body, sir. Again, and a bike again.
All right. Did you find anything else at the scene?
There was a newspaper clip and a ribbon was found at both scenes, sir. They all had different initials stitched into them.
All right. What were the initials found at the first scene that was stitched in?
Unfortunately, sir, I cannot recall.
Okay. Yeah, it's all right. So did this victim at the oil fields have visible wounds?
Yes, sir.
All right. What wounds did you observe?
Again, two strikes to the chest.
All right. So did this crime scene fit the MO of the crime scene on November 3rd?
Yes, sir. There was several things that were the exact same.
Okay. And Your Honor, we're going to touch on look at the People's C and the People's J. That would be the police report and the autopsy report for Mr. Marcus.
I would like to say there was also poems on each victims as well. A note found by each victim, which usually had a poem or a speech of some kind.
All right, and that is also is part of the evidence in the People's C. All right. Moving forward again. Were you on duty November 18th?
Yes, sir.
Did you respond to a 911 call at the subway station near Los Santos International Airport?
I did, sir.
Okay. What did you find when you arrived to this scene?
I was called in as backup for Rhodes. Again, we found a female this time. She had passed away.
All right. And what did you find? What was at the scene?
There was a music box. There was the ribbon again. There was a train ticket on the victim.
What did the train ticket mention or say?
That she had arrived in Los Santos several hours earlier.
All right. Did this victim have any visible wounds?
I'm unsure, sir. I did not get that close a look.
Okay. But would you say that did this crime scene have the same MO as his crime scenes on November 3rd and November 17th?
The exact same.
All right. And Your Honor, I would like to point to the People's D and the People's K. That would be the police report as People's D, and People's K would be the autopsy report. All right. Again, moving forward a little bit more. Later on in the month, were you also on duty November 24th?
Yes, sir.
Did you respond to a call regarding a non-responsive individual?
Yes, sir.
All right. What did you find when you arrived at this scene?
Again, another injured person who another body, sir. Again, seemed to be suffering from stab wounds again on the sides of the chest.
Right. And did this MO? So it did fit the.
Yes, there was a music box. There was a note. There was a ribbon.
Can you recall anything that was in that note?
Unfortunately, on that scene, sir, I was unable to stay due to an ongoing situation with other officers.
All right, that's fine. That will be located in the People's E, as we would like to touch on People's E and People's L. Ms. Hall, I really do appreciate your time, and that's all I have for you for right now.
Thank you, sir.
Defense. You have any
Your
questions?
Honor, can I ask one more question as
Sure.
co-counsel?
Yes.
Hello. So just to kind of clarify, was there a music box found at each of the scenes?
Yes, sir. Different song each time.
Was there a white ribbon found at each of the scenes?
Yes, sir.
And was there a note found at each of the scenes?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Defense has no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
You can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The people would like to call Miss Lily Pond to the stand, please.
Raise your left arm, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury, so help you airborne?
I do.
She's been sworn in, Your Honor.
Okay. Prosecution.
Hi, Lily. Can you guys please give us your full name and occupation, please?
Lily Pond, LSPD cadet.
All right. So we're just gonna really just dive into things right away here. Were you on duty November 11th, 2020?
Yes, I was.
All right. And did you respond to a 911 call at the intersection of Mount Vinewood Drive and Galileo Road?
I did.
Okay. Did you what did you find when you arrived to that scene?
When we arrived on scene, found a body unseen, footprints leading around the scene, ballet shoes, as well as a music box, and a note.
Okay. Do you have any recollection of what that note said? If you need to take a look, you can.
I believe. Yeah, I'd probably had to have a look at what the note said again, but I can read it for you.
Your Honor, should be able to look at the People's Beat to be able to read that note for us.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Would you want me to read the note?
Yes, please.
The note said, I was a child, or maybe I still am. Where did my family go, or did they actually leave? No, stop. We can't do this again. Stop. No, stop. I hear you. Stop. This is how it must be. The slime on your breath can be felt miles away. You and me,
You
no
okay?
one else, except there was someone else. And I had to change, that. There was so much smoke, so much fire. It was all my fault. That will follow me forever. You made sure that it followed me forever. I'm sorry you trusted me. I'm sorry. Stop, stop, stop. Just stop already. I want you to stop. Make it stop. I'm not your secret. I'm not your doll. Make it stop. I am pandemonium.
All right.
It was a
Do
beautiful.
you mind just repeating what was the last sentence that was in that?
It says, I am pandemonium.
All right. Thank you. All right. So again, kind of back to the scene. On the victim, did you were there any visible wounds?
I don't believe I physically checked the body myself. I believe Forster did.
Okay. All right. So we're just gonna keep moving on here. Just to another further down the month. On the 18th, were you on duty? November 18th.
Yes, I was.
All right. And did you respond to a 911 call at the subway station underneath Los Santos International Airport?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What did you see when you arrived to this scene?
When I arrived on scene, there was a body on the upper part of the subway, just before you head down the escalators. There was a music box on scene, as well as a note. There was a broken syringe with a liquid inside. There's also, and there was a train ticket and also a white ribbon with a letter stitched into it.
Right. Do you know by any chance what the substance that was in the syringe was?
We had it tested. I can't pretty pronounce it correctly. It's midazolam. Midazolam. I believe that's how you say it.
All right. Thank you. And did you take a look at this victim to see visible wounds this time? You personally?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did the MO of this crime scene fit the one that you were at on the November 11th?
It had the music box, the same pink note, same same memo.
All right. And just to kind of clarify, that is going to be the People's D and the People's K. We'll have all the evidence there for that one. Moving forward a little bit further, were you on duty November 24th?
Yes, I was.
All right. Did you respond to a 911 call of a non-responsive individual?
Yes.
All right. What did you see when you arrived to the scene?
I was down on the beach, outside some apartments, Vespucci Beach. Uh, on scene, there was a gentleman laying on the ground. He had multiple matchsticks sticking out of his mouth. The medics were already attending him when I arrived to try and save his life. On scene, there was again footprint. There was a white ribbon with the letter S, a music box, and more notes. There was also an email on the victim.
There was an email you said?
Like a printed out email on the victim.
All right. Gonna be pulling up the People's E. Would you mind just kind of mentioning who the email is? Does it say who the email is from there?
The email was from, I believe, Sonia, who's one of the EMS.
Okay. Now, who was the individual that was found at this scene on the 24th?
His name was Percy Goodwin.
Okay. And now, did the crime scene here fit the same MO as the 11th and on the 18th?
Yes, it had the same the music box, the white ribbon with the letter stitched into it, and then pink note.
Okay. Finally, were you on duty on December 1st, 2020?
Yes, I was.
And did you respond to a call of a downed person near Palmer Taylor Power Station?
Yes.
Now, when you arrived to this scene, what did you find?
On scene, we actually didn't find anyone because the EMS had already taken the victim because he was critical. They'd already whisked him off in Air1. However, when we arrived, we actually found a music box, found a ribbon, and I believe a can.
All right, so I just want to, just for clarity's sake,
And a note. Sorry.
okay, yeah. So the body was attended to and transferred by EMS, but there was still everything else was at the scene.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Now, do you know who was the injured individual? Do you know the name?
Yeah, Leonardo Sand.
Okay. And now, what did you? Did you go to Pillbox to check on him? Did you, or to follow up?
At that point, we actually went to the dam because there was a note on scene which directed us to the Mirror Park Dam. We left Leo in the capable hands of Bobby and the doctors at Pillbox.
All right.
Bobby being Bobby Russell, the EMS.
Sweet. Thank you very much. Now, when you went to investigate the Mirror Park Dam, what did you find, or who did you find there?
When we arrived on scene, it was myself and Matthew Espinoz. We found a BMX bike with ribbons, white ribbons all over it, sandy footprints, and it kind of led into the main area of the actual dam itself, where there's a little room. There was a woman there. She was dressed in a pink dress. Her hands and feet was covered in blood, or what seemed to be blood. She was in a lot of distress. However, Espinosa was able to talk to her, and we were able to detain her and take her down to Mission Row PD.
Was this individual that you found Miss Kay Oss, who is right behind me?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just going back to the dam real quick, when you were there, was the bike found the same one that Miss Hall mentioned in her testimony was found at each one of the scenes?
It
Or
was a black
separate?
BMX bike. I couldn't say if it
Okay.
was the same one.
All right. And there was, did she have a weapon on her person when she was apprehended?
She had a knife.
Okay. Was there blood on the knife?
Yes.
All right. Did you guys have that knife, the blood on that knife tested for DNA?
Yeah, and it came back to matching the victims.
So it came back to match each one of the victims that
Yes.
has been mentioned today? Okay. So did this, so we're not getting too confused. The original scene at the power station did that kind of in a way fit the same MO as the situations that you were at on the 11th, the 18th, and the 24th?
Yeah, same music box, same note. Yeah.
Right, and Your Honor, that's going to be the People's F and the People's M. The People's M is not a autopsy report this time, but is a medical report because Mr. Leo San did survive. And that's going to be all I have for you now, Ms. Pond. If my co-counsel might have a question or two, but if not, you can hand over to the defense.
I just have one quick question. You had mentioned that one of the victims had a broken syringe next to him.
Yes.
Were there any indications that the syringe may have been used on the victim?
I'd have to double check the autopsy report, but I believe they had an injection mark in the back of their neck.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Defense.
Hello, Miss Pond.
Hello.
What exactly did this 911 call regarding the incident with Mr. Sand say? If you remember off the top of your head.
There was two. Would you like me to read both? So there was one. My mistake. There was one 911. It said, and it was location. I also cited. I apologize. There was one. It said spin, spin, spin. She just keeps spinning. The music box keeps playing, but I want it to stop. I want it all to stop. Make it stop.
And who was that 911 call from?
Chaos.
Is Miss Kay Oss in the room right now?
Yes, she's right there.
Okay. You said that you found a note at the scene.
Which scene?
Was there previous scenes in you found notes, correct?
Yes.
What is your interpretation of these notes?
Objection. He's asking for speculation.
Rebuttal.
I just want to know what she feels about the notes when reading.
You're asking what she speculates?
Just how the notes make her feel.
It's speculating.
Okay, I'll withdraw the question. How would you, when you and Officer Espinoza arrived on scene and found Mabel, or Miss Kay Oss as you know her, how was she acting?
The dam. She seemed frightened, confused. However, I didn't really speak to her. I focused on documenting the scene and making sure there wasn't any other pertinent threats. It was Espinosa who spoke with her.
But she was able to be talked down and come into custody.
Yes.
How did she comply or not comply with your orders?
Well, after she was talked to, she was able to be placed into cuffs, in which we were able to get her into a vehicle.
Was there a struggle?
Not that I'm aware of.
You found a number of items that are pretty reoccurring at numerous scene of crimes. How does do you necessarily find these items at other crime scenes?
Objection. Confusing.
Rebuttal.
Um, is it normal to find music boxes and bikes with ribbons?
Are you going to rebut it, or are you going to re-ask the question?
I was rebuttaling it with just my curiosity of if previous crime scenes also have items such as that.
Let's ask the question less confusing, okay?
Okay. In your previous scenes that you've investigated, have you found similar items such as ballet shoes, white music boxes, and white ribbons on bikes?
In other cases that aren't this one, no.
Correct. So this is new to you.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Prosecution.
I'm good. You got anything?
Nope. We're good.
You can step down.
Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Prosecution. Next witness.
We'd like to call Mr. Matthew Espinoza to the stand, please.
Mr. Espinoza.
Raise your left arm, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury, so help you airborne?
I do.
This witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Prosecution.
All right, thank you. Espinoza, can you please state your name and your full name and occupation, please?
Senior Deputy Matthew Espinosa from the Blaine County Sheriff's Office.
All right, thank you. Diving right into things here. Were you on duty on November 24th, 2020?
I don't believe so.
All right. So, 1 second, Your Honor. Need to find something in my notes real quick. We're gonna just move forward. Were you on duty on December 1st, 2020?
Yes.
All right. Did you respond to a 911 call regarding a downed person near the Palmer Taylor power station?
Yes.
All right. And what did you find when you arrived on that scene?
We found a bike registered to Leonardo Sant, which was one of the victims. The victim. We found a music box. We found a note,
All right.
and we found a ribbon with a red letter S
all
on
right.
it.
What was the letter that was stitched into it?
S.
S. Okay. Did the victim have any visible wounds on them? Or
We did not see the victim as he was critical and was transported for air evac to Pillbox Medical. But I believe he did have visible injuries.
all right. So like in the it was mentioned in the People's F, there was the note that referred to referenced the Muir Park Dam. Did you also go and investigate the dam?
Correct. We did go. We took Palomino Freeway, then up to Mountain to the dam.
All right. And who or what did you find there?
Objection. Asked and answered.
Rebuttal.
It was asked for Ms. Pond, but had not asked that for.
Same scene though.
It's a different witness, Your Honor.
What was that from the defense?
Same scene of crime. So the same things are going to be seen and found.
From a different perspective, maybe not. That's the whole point of asking. That's overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. I can repeat the question for you if you'd like, Ms. Officer.
Yes, please.
All right. What did you find when you arrived to the scene at Muir Park Dam?
We found a bike parked at the entrance of the crossover part of the dam. We found footprints leading to the middle of the dam, entering a doorway, and we found Miss Oss just kind of sitting cowardly on the floor.
Okay. Did she have a weapon on her by any chance?
She did. She had a knife.
All right. Was there any blood on the knife?
Yes.
All right. And did you test that blood for on that knife for DNA?
Officer Pond did.
Officer Pond did. Okay. To your knowledge, did that DNA come back to any of the victims that have been mentioned in this case today?
Yes.
All right. Now, was this the only scene that you had seen when you arrived to the? Yeah, let me rephrase that. When you got to the power station, had you seen any of this MO before? You personally?
I saw this MO on the scene at the subway station. There was the same items found on scene, such as the music box and a ribbon. So I would say between those two scenes, yes.
All right, and just to clarify, just so there's no issues or questions, you were on duty on that evening for the train station underneath the airport. You were not.
Yes.
Okay.
I did not. I did not recall the exact date. That's why I didn't say November 24th. If it was that one.
All right. I just wanted to double check, just for clarification purposes for the courts.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And that's going to be the People's F and the People's M, Your Honor. And that's all I actually have for you, Mr. Espinosa. My co-counsel might have a question or two, though.
I just have one quick one. So in your opinion as a law enforcement officer, does the MO fit all of the incidents that you and your colleagues have described?
Yes.
All right, no further questions, Your Honor.
Defense?
You were a responding officer with Officer Pond on the scene with the incident of Mr. Sand. Is that correct?
Correct.
And how did Miss Chaos or Mabel seem to you?
He
Yeah, objection. He's asking for speculation.
I don't think that's the. I don't think that's the correct objection to this, so I'm going to allow it unless I hear anything else.
Would you like the question repeated,
Sure.
Mr. Espinoza?
Yes.
How did Miss Chaos seem acting to you when you arrived on scene?
She seemed traumatized.
Were you able to talk her down at all?
I was able to calm her down a bit. I was de-escalating the situation from a possible danger, and then I placed her into cuffs.
Do you remember any of the conversation that was had between you and my client, Miss Chaos, or Mabel during this time?
Yeah.
Could you elaborate?
I basically was acknowledging the whole crime scene, making sure that she was the dress that she was wearing was covered in blood. So one, I wanted to make sure that she was not injured, and two, I wanted to make sure she was disarmed for my safety and my other officer's safety.
When placing her under arrest, was there any struggle from my client, Miss Chaos, or Mabel?
No.
Did she willingly obey every command that you gave her?
Yes.
How did my client, Miss Chaos, or Mabel, seem while in the holding cells before her sentencing?
Objection scope.
Rebuttal?
I would want to know the behavior of my client while in the holding cells.
Yeah, but how you're gonna answer the objection for scope though?
I can withdraw.
Okay.
What was the state of my client while in the holding cells?
Objection scope
Objection
again.
scope.
I'll withdraw again.
Mr. Gucci Man,
Yes.
do you know what scope is?
Could you elaborate more? This is my first case.
I mean, the word scope. Do you know what it is?
I believe that it's the of obtaining towards like an area that someone deals with or what they're familiar with. Correct?
Scope means you can only ask questions that were pertaining in the same questioning that the original side that called the witness asked. So if it's not related to those same lines of questioning, unless they're your witness, you have to stay inside their scope.
Okay, understood. In that case, no more questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Uh, am I free to get out of the stand, Your Honor?
I don't have any further questions, but my co-counsel might.
You can step down. Prosecution.
All right, I'm gonna call Dr. William Thatch to the stand, please.
Raise your left arm, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury, so help you airborne? This witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Okay.
Dr. Thatch, thank you for coming today. I guess kind of want to get have you had multiple sessions with Miss Kay Oss?
Yes, I have had multiple sessions with Mabel, yes.
Right. Just for continuity purposes, I'm going to refer to her as Miss Kay Oss, but if you Miss Kay Oss, all right. Did you suggest that she was moved from Bolingbroke State Penitentiary to Parsons? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. During any of your sessions at Parsons, did Miss Oss confess to attacking any of the victims?
In a way, yes. However, she referred it as putting them to sleep, and that it was the voices that were telling her to do so.
She did. So she did.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, that's actually all. I'm gonna need also if my co-counsel has any questions.
I don't have any additional questions at this time.
We're good.
Okay. Defense.
Hi, Dr. Thatch. How long have you been Mabel's therapist?
I believe it was December 1st was the first time I met her.
And how do you think that Mabel is doing at Parsons?
She has actually improved quite well since my first meeting with her.
Could you elaborate more on that?
Well, when I had talked with her...
Objection. It's not within the scope.
Okay. I'll...
Oh, all right.
Any other questions?
Do you believe that Mabel had an understanding of what she was doing during these heinous crimes?
Yeah, you go.
I believe she had an understanding, yes.
Do you believe that Parsons Rehabilitation Center can help Mabel?
Yes.
Objection,
absolutely.
scope.
Rebuttal.
Parsons was brought up that she was placed in there, and I'm asking if spending more time at Parsons would benefit her.
All out. Overruled.
Yes, absolutely believe that it would help her further.
Okay, no further questions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing else on
Oh,
our
sorry.
side.
You can step down.
Hold on.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mr. Gucci Man, do you wish to recall him later, or?
Yes, I would like to recall him later.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If there's questions that you have that aren't inside the scope, whenever you get to your side is when you get the opportunity to ask those questions to call them up.
Absolutely. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Prosecution.
We have no further witnesses, but we'd like to take just a minute to run through the evidence.
Go for it.
So I'm just want to touch on there's a mountain of evidence here. Countless police reports, countless autopsy reports. In those reports, you can see that each one has the mention of everything that was found at each one of those scenes. The MO is pretty spot on and tight on that end. And I guess if you could just to refer to all of that when making your decision.
I'd also like to add that the police reports describe or detail the ribbons that were left as the scene having initials that spell out the name Chaos when taken one letter at a time in chronological order of the events that had transpired. And then also, just 1 second. Let me pull up my notes real quick. People's F that details the weapon that was used to commit the murders and the blood and DNA that matches to the victims.
Other than that, yep. Other than that, the people rest, Your Honor. Thank you.
Defense, do you have any witnesses?
Yes. The defense's first witness that we'd like to call to the stand is Dr. William Thatch.
Mr. Thatch, you already sworn in, so you don't have to be sworn in again.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Dr. Thatch, how would you compare Mabel's mental state at Parsons versus her time at Bolingbrook Penitentiary?
I believe that she has improved immensely. Down at Bolingbrook, she had been harassed to the point where she would run and hide from people, including other DOC
Objection,
members.
facts not in evidence.
Rebuttal?
The facts are in evidence if you look at medical evaluation A, where Dr. William Thatch refers to talking to Ms. Chaos. A and B talks about how a man named Zero was harassing her and how the DOC claimed that she was not eating or leaving her cell.
Rebuttal back to that, prosecution?
There's no report from the DOC that says she was being harassed, and the claim he's making is that she was receiving harassment, not that she was silent in her cell and not eating.
Well, that's why he's up here as a witness. And this is from his own perspective of what he heard and seen. None of this would be hearsay because the defendant is inside the room. There won't have to be any facts entered as evidence, as his testimony itself is the evidence. I'm going to
Understood,
overrule the
Your Honor.
objection.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Dr. William Thatch?
I believe the Honor would like to. Yes, please.
You were referring to her being mistreated at Bolingbrook Penitentiary. Could you elaborate more on that?
Yes. So she had mentioned to me that she was being harassed, and when I actually saw this man named Zero harassing her to the point where she would try to run away and hide herself in order to try to stay safe. And up at Parsons, she has been a lot more receptive, a lot more spoken. She's actually gone from one-word sentences all the way up to almost complete sentences with me, just being up in Parsons.
Okay. As her therapist, what do you know about her past family history?
From what I know of past family, from what she has told me, is her father was an extremely abusive father. He would refer to as his secret, and basically punish her any chance that he would get. He was basically making her into what she is.
Would you say that in your previous clients that this kind of childhood trauma would cause what's the word I'm looking for? A bad life, for better, less words.
Yes, I think that stuff like this would cause absolutely trauma.
Wait, let's wait one moment. Were you going to object?
Yes, I was going to object that his previous client's behavior have no bearing on the case at hand.
Rebuttal?
Previous clients dealing with childhood trauma can result in the same outcome of what we're seeing with Miss Chaos, or as we like to refer to her as Mabel.
You are a psychiatrist, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he's being called up here as a expertise witness. That is the purpose of him being here, and his expertise in the field of psychiatry, and being the person that's looking over the defendant. With that being said, everything that he's being asked follows suit completely under any experience he has, so I'm going to overrule that objection.
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to repeat the question, Dr. Thatch?
Please.
In your medical experience, how would you uh, would you compare Miss Chaos or Mabel's past childhood trauma in previous cases?
Yeah, I believe that her trauma and everything is definitely would cause her to more than likely come to this pass. I mean, it's something that we've seen before, but this is a very extreme trauma that has caused this to happen to her.
In your medical experience, have you seen past cases similar to Mabel, even less extreme, have a positive outcome?
I have, yes.
Could you elaborate?
I've had multiple different patients that have had childhood traumas, and I mean, not as extreme as Mrs. Oss's, but I can't really recall. I've had multiple different patients, but they have been lesser issues, I should say, I guess.
Do you believe that Mabel can be helped?
Yes, I do believe that she could be helped.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Prosecution?
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Thatch, did the prosecution object to Miss Oss being moved to Parsons?
No, absolutely not.
All right. That's all I have, Your Honor.
And I just got one more quick question. Hey, just for clarification, are you a therapist or a psychiatrist?
I am a psychologist with Pillbox Medical.
Psychologist. Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
The defense, do you have anything inside that scope you want to ask?
Yeah. Was how long was our my client Miss Chaos placed in Bolingbrook Penitentiary for after being arrested?
Objection. No, it's not within the scope of the questions that we had asked.
I believe you asked whether she went to Parsons voluntarily, and I believe that would open up the scope for this.
Okay, withdrawn.
Would you like me to repeat the question, Dr. Thatch?
Yes, please.
How long did my client Miss Chaos or Mabel spend in Bolingbrook Penitentiary before Parsons?
I believe it was around 7 days. I can't recall the exact date, but it's been. I think it was at least 7 years in Bolingbrook. Yes.
Did you recommend for her to be placed in Parsons Rehabilitation Center immediately?
Yes. That was day one that I requested that she be put into Parsons.
And that request was denied.
I don't believe it was denied. However, they decided to place her in Bolingbrook instead for safety of patients.
What was the case for her to be transferred to Parsons? What happened?
She had, when I spoke to her down in Bolingbrook, she approached me with a broken nose and a black eye.
And from there, you recommended that she be placed in Parsons, or?
Yes, from there, I highly recommended that she be placed in Parsons in hopes that she would see better treatment.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
You can step down.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Defense, you have any other witnesses?
Yes, the defense would like to call Leonardo Sand up to the stand, please.
Before you swear him in, give me 1 second, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hey, how's it going?
It is going. Judge Coyote is in his head currently.
All right, that's fine.
Go ahead.
Will you raise your left arm, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury, so help you airborne?
Yes, I do.
This witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
What is your relationship with my client, Mabel?
I don't have any relationship with Miss Kay Oss.
You did not know Mabel before the incident happened?
No.
What exactly do you remember from the incident?
Objection. Confusing. If he could kind of let us know what incident he's referring to.
I think you're looking for lack foundation.
Correct.
Let's build some foundation here, Mr. Gucciman.
In the alleged attempted murder caused by my client Mabel, where you were found in a 911 scene, what is the last thing that you remember?
The last thing that I remember was I was at Pillmox Medical. I left the hospital, and I do not remember anything else after that. I was talking with a doctor that treated me, and he told me that the amount of drugs that was found in my system probably caused loss of memory, and I was not unable to recall the incident that happened to me.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Prosecution?
No questions for this witness, Your Honor.
You can step down. Defense, do you have any other witnesses?
Yes, the defense's last witness is Miss Kay Oss, or Mabel.
Does your client wish to waive her Fifth Amendment right and give a statement?
Say yes.
Yes.
Yes, she does. I don't know if you could hear her.
All right, come on up.
There you go. You're
Can I
uncuffed.
have
You can go up.
food?
Yes, you may. There you are. Please raise your left arm. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury, so help you airborne?
Yes.
This witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Okay.
How are you feeling today, Mabel?
Scared.
Why are you scared?
Known.
Do you understand why you're being questioned here today, Mabel?
Yes.
Why are you being questioned?
People went to sleep.
Who went-
Objection. We can't hear her in the back over here.
Make sure you're speaking up nice and loud, Mabel, okay?
Make sure
I
you're speaking
am
clearly.
trying.
I know you're trying your best. Your Honor, could they move up potentially to hear my client? Would that be okay? She's very soft spoken.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Okay. Mabel, you were saying that someone's sleeping. Who's
They-
sleeping?
They went to sleep. My friends.
Why did they go to sleep, Mabel?
Need to be alone.
Why do you feel the need to be alone, Mabel?
He gets upset.
Who gets upset?
He does.
Okay, that's all right. Well, we can move on from questioning. You doing all right?
Yes.
That's a nice doll you have up there.
Yes.
Is that your doll?
Yes.
Objection, relevance.
I'm gonna overrule that.
Mabel, how did you feel while in Bolingbrook Penitentiary? The prison place with the bars.
Frightened. Pain. Loud.
And how do you feel at Parsons Rehabilitation Center?
Change. For the better.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Prosecution, do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Hey there, Miss Oss. You made reference to your friends. Could you tell me their names?
No.
How do you know these friends, or where do you know them from?
We went biking.
You went biking. Where did you go biking to?
Anywhere.
Anywhere? Did you go biking to the power plant?
Remember. I don't remember.
Let's see. Did you go biking to the Vinewood sign?
I bike everywhere.
I'd like to object that she's being non-responsive.
Sustain. Can you answer the question?
I don't remember.
Have you ever gone biking with your friends to the oil fields?
I don't remember.
Have you ever gone biking with your friends to the subway station near the Los Santos International Airport?
I don't remember.
Did you ever go biking with your friends to the beach down by them apartments?
I don't remember. Gets very loud.
I got no further questions for the witness at this time. My co-counsel might, however.
Hey, Miss Oss. Did you go biking? Do you remember going biking near the Mirror Park Dam?
Yes.
What were you wearing when you went biking at the dam?
Present from him.
All right. Did you have a knife on you when you were at the dam?
Objection leading.
You can lead questions in across.
Yes.
To your knowledge, did the weapon have blood on them? On it.
So much. No one to hurt.
That's gonna be it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Defense, you have any questions in the scope of that?
No further questions.
You can step down.
You can come back over to where I am,
Make
Mabel.
sure you're covered to the table. Prosecution, well, you said that was your last witness, right?
Correct.
Do you rest?
There you go, Miss Sauce.
Yes, the defense rests, Your Honor.
Very well. Prosecution, do you have your closing statement prepared, or do you need time?
We'd like to much for a 10-minute recess, if you don't mind, Your Honor.
It is very loud. It's okay. We're
All
almost
right.
done.
And defense, do you have your closing statement ready, or do you wish to?
Oh, I have my closing statement ready, Your Honor.
5 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Recess.
Yes, sir. Six victims. 6. 5 murders, and what would have been a 6th if not for the good fortune that Leo San should be found and given medical treatment in time. 6 heinous acts, all committed by the same individual, Miss Kay Oss. You know who wasn't a victim? Chaos. No. While the defense would want you to believe that she is a victim of circumstance, this is simply not the case. The defense is claiming that the actions of her father caused those horrific acts. Her daddy didn't kill them people. She did. Kay is a murderer. Kay is a serial killer. The prosecution has presented a mountain of evidence in the form of police reports and testimony that points to one and only one conclusion. Kay, with malice aforethought, planned, prepared, and committed the crime she is being charged with. 6 crime scenes inexorably tied together. 6 music boxes that were carefully prepared and deliberately placed at each scene. 6 notes that were similarly left behind. 6 white ribbons, which, when taken in chronological order of the horrific acts that she committed, spell out chaos. She signed her work. These acts were malicious and premeditated and resulted in 5 deaths with an attempt at number 6. People's Exhibit D, Report 5427, details a note with instructions on how to administer the midazolam that she used to subdue her victim. People's F, Report number 5614, details a weapon that was found on her person, which was covered in blood, which matched the DNA of all 6 victims. Mr. Thatch said in his testimony that, quote, she had an understanding of what she did. 6 terrible acts that the prosecution has clearly demonstrated she is guilty of. The 9th Amendment of the Los Santos Constitution, or Coop's Law as we would call it, plainly states that where any citizen is found guilty of multiple, numerous, and or continuous instances of heinous, malicious, and or organized capital level crimes in the state of San Andreas in a short period of time, the citizen may be subjected to life in prison or the death penalty. It is due to these multiple, numerous, and continuous instances of heinous, malicious, and organized capital level crimes that the defendant has committed, and the prosecution has clearly demonstrated her guilt in regards to, that the prosecution urges the need for the defendant to be found guilty and subsequently put to death so that the citizens of Los Santos will not have to cower in fear of her terrifying acts any longer. And if you cannot justify the absolute need to end her life as punishment for the mountain of lives she has taken, spending the remainder of her life in Parsons would be the only alternative conceivable. Thank you.
According to the arrest report regarding the case 34535, flowers were found inside of the stab wounds of the victims. Ballet shoes, a BMX bike with white ribbon was found. A music box playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star was found, and there lied my client Mabel, found in her long pink dress. What odd things to bring to a scene you are about to commit a heinous act at. All very innocent items, yet put over a scene of horror, almost as if she's trying to mask what was done wrong by replacing it with beauty. This is a cry for help. In her own weird way, my client Mabel has been showing bits and pieces of her innocence and inner child by placing these items at the scene of the crimes. These add to her demeanor that she has the mental capacity of a very young and tormented child and has no idea what she is doing. She is unaware of the crimes she is committing. Someone with a full understanding of the crimes they are committing would not bring childlike items with them. When asked if she needed anything from Dr. William Thatch before leaving a medical evaluation session, she asked for a doll or stuffed animal to quote unquote keep her company. This is not something an adult would normally ask for while being held until trial in a rehabilitation center. My client has been giving into the voices in her head long enough and has decided that she wants to listen to them no more. She wants to change. She wants to become Mabel, but she is afraid. She is terrified of what is to come because all she's known while growing up is chaos. And that's why her father named her that. My client does not belong in a cell. In fact, as stated by Dr. William Thatch, she would become worse in prison, as we've already seen. Placing her in prison would put her in an even more downward spiral. My client does not deserve the death penalty. She is clearly in an unstable state of mind and has had no understanding of her actions or the consequences from her committing them. They were involuntary, and she should be deemed not guilty by insanity. During her time at Parsons, she has slowly worked her way from 1 to 2 words to 6 or 7. She opened up about her past. She revealed her real name. She stated that the voices were still there and her father, but very quiet. With the help of Parsons Rehabilitation Center, those voices can go from very quiet to non existent. This isn't someone who should be put to death. This is someone crying out for a second chance in life, and we can give her that second chance. I ask for you to consider these facts and see the progress she has made at Parsons in such little time. I trust that you will all make the right decision. Thank you.
You're a little quiet, Judge Coyote, just as a heads up.
I'm going to put the court to recess. I'll return shortly. I'm going to put this courtroom back into session. Everybody here?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm very disappointed in this case. I'm very disappointed because I don't feel like the defendant had any proper representation at all. And by law, she's required to have that. That's her right. I don't think that she had the correct defensive representation. I don't think she had the correct mental evaluation. It says here in her treatment sessions that she was given a dose of antipsychotic. I don't even know what that means. What was she given? How much? What was she diagnosed with? None of that was ever given. All it was given to me was symptoms. I'm not a psychiatrist. I need a psychiatrist to tell me what is wrong with her and what all that involves, not tell me the symptoms. I'm going to court order Miss Kay Oss to get a psych eval for Miss Pixie Plum. I want a complete diagnosis of her mental results. I'm going to mistrial this case. I'm going to throw this lawyer off the case. You are way over your head on this one. Way over your head. You're going to be given a different attorney. You're going to be given a different trial. And we're going to do this the right way. where you actually get a fair trial. This was a disgrace. This case is closed.